Actually, this question of meditation has been raised again and again in various places also. And what is, I think many of you by now would have already heard about meditation. And what is the real term in the Buddhist term for meditation? Can you remember? What is the term? Good, very good. Bhavana. Bhavana. The word bhavana means to, very good, to cultivate, to culture. In other words, culture what? The mind. To cultivate the mind, to culture the mind. Right? And according to the teachings of the Buddha, referring to the Noble Eightfold Path. You know the Noble Eightfold Path? What is the first of the Noble Eightfold Path? Quick. Right understanding. Good. Second, right. Right thought. Very good. Third. Right? Speech. Fourth. Right? Action. Bodily action. Fifth. Right? Livelihood. Sixth. Right? Effort. Next one. Right? Mindfulness. Next one. Right? Concentration. Oh, very good. And most important thing first is to know what it is about. Then the next thing is, once you know already, these are the Noble Eightfold Path. The next thing is that will arise in your mind is how to practice. How to put this into practice. When we want to put this Noble Eightfold Path into practice, we group these 8 path factors into 3. What are the 3 groups? Sila, Samadhi, Panya. Sila means what? Sila means morality. Morality means restrain from unwholesome action, restrain from bad actions, and to do good. That is what Sila is about. Samadhi. What is Samadhi? Concentration. In this context, we have to use another term. We use mental discipline. Mental discipline, samadhi, and panya, wisdom. Now, I think you know what sila is. Do you know? Of the Noble Eightfold Path, what are the path factors that constitute sila? Yes? Right speech, good. Second, right bodily action, good. Third, right livelihood. Right livelihood which directly involves our speech and bodily action. So these 3 path factors, they come under, they can be classified, they can be grouped under what we call sila. Then samadhi or mental discipline. What are the path factors directly involved in the mental discipline? Yes? Right? Effort. Next? Mindfulness. Concentration. right effort, right mindfulness, right concentration. So now you know what mental discipline, samadhi is about. When, as long as we have in our minds these three factors, three power factors, effort. Effort here refers to the mental effort. Mindfulness, right mindfulness, and right concentration. When these three things are present, then there is real mental discipline. Then there is real meditation. Right? Because meditation is nothing but the disciplining of the mind. That is how we can culture the mind. We can cultivate the mind. So, let us see whether, let us revise. For some of you, revise. Others, try to remember what these three components of mental discipline are. Firstly, effort. Right effort. What is right effort? How many right efforts? How many? What are the right efforts? If you remember, please remember very systematically. The teachings of the Buddha is very well expounded. The Buddha expounded the Dhamma very clearly, and they are all interrelated in one way or another. When we talk about right effort, it involves the effort to avoid evil and to do good, right? There are two efforts, two right efforts with regards to the avoidance of evil. Firstly, now remember that when we talk about right effort according to the Noble Eightfold Path, that this right effort refers to the effort in the mind, mental effort. When unwholesome thoughts have not arisen in your mind, in other words, when there are no bad thoughts in your mind, you need to have an effort, the right effort, to prevent the bad thoughts from arising in your mind. That is first effort. The second kind of effort is when some unwholesome thoughts, some bad thoughts have arisen in the mind. And when that unwholesome thoughts have arisen in the mind, you need to what? Overcome them. You need to overcome them. Right? So the first two effort, right effort, they are concerned with the avoidance of evil. In other words, the effort to prevent and the effort to overcome. Then the third effort, the third and fourth, is concerned with the good. The third one is to see the goodness in our mind, the good thoughts in our mind. If there are already some good thoughts in our mind, then we should make an effort to maintain that, to maintain the good state of mind. On the other hand, if we see that there are certain good thoughts that is not in us. Certain goodness, certain qualities, certain virtues that is not in us. We need to develop. We need effort to develop, to cultivate that. So that is also right effort. So with regards to the cultivation of good, the good qualities, there is the effort to maintain the good that is already there, and the effort to develop the good that is not there. Can you remember 4 things? Can you remember these? If you cannot remember the whole thing, remember 4 words. Not 4 letter words, 4 words only. One is the effort to prevent unwholesome thoughts from arising in the mind. Second is the effort to overcome unwholesome thoughts that has already arisen in the mind. Thirdly, the effort to maintain the good that is there. And fourthly, the effort to cultivate, to develop the good that is not there. These are the 4 right efforts. Is it easy? Very easy to remember, isn't it? But how about the practice? Can or not? Let us see how you practice in your day-to-day life. Not in your day-to-day life, now. Do you observe even now you have to apply some effort? What kind of effort are you applying now? What you are doing now? Listening. In the process of listening, what is happening in your mind now? Is your mind always here? Ask yourself whether your mind is, gone out already, gone back in the car, or do not know where your mind goes. Sometimes your mind is here, sometimes your mind is somewhere else. So you need the effort to bring back your mind. Bring back your mind to what you are doing. To listen. So if you can do this thing, if you can keep on bringing your mind, bringing your attention to what you are doing now, then you are practicing right effort. Right? Then you are cultivating your mind. One factor there, right? So that is also meditation, right? So while listening, we can develop our mindfulness, we can develop our concentration too. So that is why it is important to understand what really these path factors are. Then we can understand what the real meaning of meditation, the real meaning of mental discipline or mental culture. This energy in the mind is quite different. Some people have very big bodies. They go bodybuilding. And they have a lot of physical strength. But mentally, they are very weak also. Some people, their body is very weak, but their mind is very strong. But there are also some people whose body is weak and mind also weak. But there are also some people whose body is strong and the mind also strong. So, which one do you choose to have? Which one do you want to choose? Strong mind, strong body, naturally. Now, how do you develop this kind of mental energy? This mental energy is a faculty of the mind. It is when you develop, it becomes a mental power. How do you develop this mental power, this energy? Do you know? How energy arises in your mind? Not by taking tablets, any what you call, I do not know what, but for your body, if your body is weak, you can just swallow one, some kind of tablets or instant glucose or something. It gives you energy, immediately picks you up. But your mind, you experience sometimes your mind very tired, and you cannot think, especially after now examination period, and you start to cramp everything in your mind, and the mind become very tired. What do you do? How do you build up this mental energy? Any tablets to take? Meditation. Before you get into this meditation, even you want to meditate, you want to cultivate your mind, you need this effort, right? You need this energy. But what are the conditions that are necessary to arouse this effort to arise in the mind? This energy to arise in the mind, so that you can direct your mental energy in the right course. In other words, towards the practice of the 4 right efforts. You need that source of mental energy to direct it. Do you know it needs effort to maintain the good thoughts in your mind, or to keep your thoughts free from bad thoughts? Keep your mind free from bad thoughts. You need effort. So, what is this? There are 5 mental faculties. I think when I mention 5 mental faculties, some of you remember. Do you know your mind? What are the 5 mental faculties? First one. No. Mental faculties in the sense that you have the capabilities, the potentiality of the mind. Do you know your mind? No. So you do not know yourself? To know yourself, you must know both your mind and your body. Your body you can see every day. But do you really know your body also? So you do not know who you are. If you do not know who you are, how do you know others? How can you know others? Okay, come back and see and understand your mind. These mental faculties. What are these mental faculties? The first one. No. That is one of them. That's one. Yes. One more. Come this side. No? Haven't you heard of these words? Saddha, Virya, Sati, Samadhi, Panya. Haven't you heard these words? Now you have heard these words. They are your mental faculties. Saddha. What is Saddha? Saddha means confidence. Confidence means faith. Confidence. When you have faith, when you have confidence in the Buddha, in the Dhamma, in the Sangha, or at home, when you have confidence, husband and wife live faithfully with one another, so they have confidence in one another. When they have confidence in one another, they can work at home. The wife can work at home. They clean the home and cook and go out to work, come back, still have energy. And you see those people coming to work in the temple, they work, they have a lot of energy to go on working. Not only physical, but mental too. But at home they don't have that kind of energy. Sometimes when you come to sit for meditation, when you come to temple, you sit in a group, you can sit for a long time without moving. But at home you sit for a short while and get up already. There is no energy to maintain that. Because the element of faith and the confidence in you. This element of faith, this element of confidence in you, they are conditioned by what? What is the factor, what is the condition that gives rise, that conditions faith, confidence to arise in your mind? Do you know? Buddha advised in the Mangala Sutta. What is the advice the Buddha gave? One of the first of the highest blessings in life. Remember? Asevana cha balanam panditanam cha sevana. Can you remember that? Asevana cha balanam panditanam cha sevana puja cha pujaniyanam etang mangala muttama. Buddha said, avoid the company of the fools, the evil ones, associate with the wise. When you associate with those who are learned, who are wise, who have faith and confidence, then you will also develop your confidence. When you develop this confidence, then the energy in your mind, that will help to arouse the energy in your mind. Because faith and confidence as a mental factor conditions the energy. You can see it when you lose faith in those whom you trust. Then what happened to your mind? Naturally, in the family, you see, if the parents, if mother and father, if they lose faith, husband and wife lose faith in one another, or parents lose faith in their children, or the children lose faith in their parents, what happens in their mind? What happens to your mind when you lose faith in one another? You have worries, you have suspicion, You have suspicion for one another, right? You have anxiety. There is suspicion, there is anxiety in the mind. Worries arises in the mind. Did you see this? And because this is what you call the mental factor. The mental factor of faith or confidence, when that is not present, then what happens is the mind becomes weakened, and fear, anxiety arises in the mind. And when you have no confidence in you, the self-confidence is not there, then your energy become very weak, your leg begin to shake, your hand begin to shake also. So learn how to develop the right kind of confidence. Confidence in the Buddha, the Dhamma, and the Sangha. Confidence. Place your confidence in the triple gem. Then you will have right effort, you will have that energy in the mind, and you can divert this energy into the proper cause, to these 4 kinds of right effort. And the effort to prevent unwholesome thoughts from arising in the mind. You see from now, from just now when you came until now, were there any bad thoughts in your mind? How many good thoughts have arisen in your mind? Are you aware of it? You know what are the good thoughts and what are the bad thoughts in the mind? What are the good thoughts? What are the bad thoughts in your mind? Those thoughts that are conditioned by greed, by desire, by anger or aversion, by delusion, ignorance, confusion. These are what you call unwholesome thoughts in the mind. Those thoughts that are conditioned by liberality, loving kindness, wisdom, they are the good thoughts in your mind. So now you know the state of your mind, good or bad. And if it is good, try to keep it good. Right throughout session, see whether you can maintain that. That this is only one factor, what you call effort, right effort. Then the second factor with regards to the development of the mind, the cultivation of the mind or meditation, is what we call right mindfulness. What is this right mindfulness about? This is very important for you to understand, because those people especially who ask this question about samatha and vipassana, and since I came back, there were quite a few people ask, Reverend, what are you doing, samatha or vipassana? And they ask, you wash your breath, oh, that's samatha, and I watch this one, rising, falling, that vipassana. And there is a lot of misunderstanding about these kinds of meditation, actually. So firstly, it is important to understand what it means by right mindfulness. What is right mindfulness? Where are all the samatha and vipassana people? What is right mindfulness? According to the Noble Eightfold Path, more specific. In a general sense, that's right. In a more specific sense, we refer to another four things. Right mindfulness is the mindfulness with regards to four things. What are the four things? Mindfulness on the body, mindfulness on feelings, mindfulness on the mind, the state of the mind, and mindfulness on Dhamma. Dhamma here refers to mental objects. In other words, the thoughts or objects in the mind, mental objects, Dhamma. These are the four foundations of right mindfulness. When you practice, when you turn your attention towards these, towards your body, feelings, mind or the state of your mind, and mental objects, and you observe it, just observe and not to cling to it. Just be aware, the bare attention towards it. Then that is what you say there is right mindfulness. This right mindfulness is different from the kind of the words that we use ordinarily in the conventional sense. We say you must be mindful of everything what you do. And that kind of mindfulness is sometimes you think about these things, mindfulness, and there is clinging already. In this path factor, as a path factor, the right mindfulness means your bare attention, your awareness as and when those mental and physical processes arise, you are just aware of them. And you are aware with regards to the body, feelings, the state of your mind, and the Dhamma. This is how the foundations through which you can arouse right mindfulness. Now, watching your breath, breathing in and breathing out. What is this breath? Which one do you breath? Which one? Is it belonging to the body, feelings, the mind, or mental object? Which one? The breath belongs to your body, isn't it? When you watch the rising and falling of your abdomen, what are you watching? You're watching body, right? You're also watching the body, isn't it? What aspect of the body are you watching? Motion, movement. Movement is conditioned by what? Very good. Wind element, the wind element. So you are watching your body. You watch this breath, you are also watching your body. The wind element. No? The foundations of mindfulness, this is called what is known as the four foundations of mindfulness. The four foundations of mindfulness is the foundation to the whole practice of concentration, to the whole practice of the development of the mind, it leads to the development of calmness, it leads to the development of insight. These are when you direct your mind, when you have right mindfulness. So remember, what are the four foundations of mindfulness that you can turn to again and again? Right. So whether you are watching your breath, the anapanasati, watching when you breathe in or breathe out and breathe out, or watching the rising and falling of your abdomen, or when you are walking, you watch the sensation, the touch, or sometimes when you are sitting, you can observe also the feelings. Do you know how to observe the feelings within you? How your body comes into contact with the sitting, with the seat, and you can feel the sensation, the touch that your clothes make with the body. You can feel that sensation. Now you can feel when there is the wind blowing, you can feel the cooling sensation. That is feeling process. Just be aware of it. And when you are aware of this, when your mind is attentive, place your attention there and observe. Train the mind to observe it. Observe these phenomena from the beginning to the end. Even now, while you are sitting, you find the wind blow. Right? If you are sitting near the fan, if you know, you feel the sensation? What kind of sensation? Cooling sensation, right? And after that? How long does that sensation last? Can you observe? Were you able to observe how long does it last? Always cool like that? All the time? You watch and see. And when you sit down and you observe your body posture, and see how, see whether this posture change or not. Keep observing, looking at it. Use your mind to observe. In whatever position that you are in, you can bring your attention to these four bases, four foundations, mindfulness. Learn to see whether the sensation is pleasant or unpleasant, or sometimes neither pleasant nor unpleasant. Be aware of it. Learn to observe the state of your mind. What do we mean by observing the state of your mind? By observing the state of your mind means to observe whether now your mind is in a concentrated state, or whether the mind is not concentrated, the mind is a bit restless, whether there is anger in the mind, aversion in the mind, whether there are cravings, sensual desires in your mind. Be aware of the state of mind. When you are aware, when you can observe this, then you are practicing what you call mindfulness. That is how you develop the mindfulness in your mind. Then mindfulness These four foundations of mindfulness. That is what you call right mindfulness. Now what is right concentration? The third factor which makes up today's what you call bhavana or meditation or mind culture. Right? You know what right effort is? Right mindfulness is? Now what is right concentration? Samma samadhi. Samma samadhi. What is right concentration? Anybody? Samma samadhi. According to the teachings of the Buddha in the Noble Eightfold Path, what is this Samma Samadhi? What is right concentration? Right concentration here refers to the mind, the oneness of the mind, how you can focus, and in whatever you do, your mind can be focused and there is absorption in your mind. And this is where, according to the Noble Eightfold Path, when we talk about Samma Samadhi, right concentration, the Buddha explained right concentration according to the different levels of the different degrees of concentration. And how many degrees? How many levels? 16. What are the 16? Have you heard of the word jhana? Dhyana. The word Sanskrit is dhyana. The Pali term is jhana. No? And the English term for this is called absorption. Mental absorption. There are other words that have been used, and in the translation of this word, sometimes I see the word trance being used, sometimes ecstasy being used, and various kinds of words are being used. But I think the more appropriate term is what we call absorption. Your mind is absorbed in what you are doing at that moment, in that one object of meditation, one object of concentration. Now, there are different levels of absorption. You keep to that one object again and again. When your mind is distracted, when your mind goes away, again you bring back again. Again it goes up, again you bring back, until your mind is absorbed in that one object, until your mind is fully focused on that one object. And we explained this absorption or concentration when the real absorption arises in the mind, when all the mental hindrances are at least temporarily checked, temporarily under control. You know what the mental hindrances are? Very important to know what are the things, what are the conditions, what are the factors that hinders your concentration power. Even now, while you are listening, what is it that is hindering you from concentrating? Do you know? What are these mental hindrances? 5 mental hindrances. What is it? Sensual desire, one. When you study, you try to study, try to revise your work, and then some sensual thoughts arise in your mind. Your concentration goes somewhere else. Or what happens? Another hindrance. Ill will, anger arises in the mind. When anger arises in the mind, when you get angry with somebody who has, your brother turned on the television too loud, you get angry. After shouting and yelling at him, the anger is still there. And you try to study, cannot study because the anger, burning in you. Or what has happened during the day that you are angry with somebody while you are looking in the book, then the picture of that person come into your mind. You get terribly upset. And you cannot concentrate. Have you got this experience? That is what you call mental hindrance. When the mental hindrance arises, then that is not right concentration. As long as there is mental hindrance, the concentration is not right. What are the other mental hindrances? Sloth and torpor. You know sloth and torpor? What is the sloth and torpor? Laziness is conditioned by sloth and torpor. Sloth and torpor is a state of mind. It's a condition, it's a mental condition. Sometimes when you take up a book or when you go to your office and you look up, you want to think what to do today, right? And then you take down your pen, what to do today? You ask yourself, what to do, Your mind blank, cannot think, refuse to think, Then you start drawing pictures, sloth and torpor. And the next thing that happens is, this is what you call sloth and torpor of the mind. And you read something, then the thinking, the ability to think and reason out is not there. The mind just stops applying. You are not able to apply your thought there because of that sloth and torpor. So when there is sloth and torpor, the mind becomes drowsiness arises, drowsiness, and then that's the end of your concentration. So sloth and torpor. You know when sloth and torpor arise in you? You know when it arises? Must learn when the sloth and torpor arise in you. Very important. When? When are the times usually sloth and torpor arise? When your mind is not directed to any object. When is it? When is it that your mind cannot be directed towards one object so easily? Restlessness is another mental hindrance. What time of the day? Now you remember, now you know. Some of you are experiencing this, especially if you have had a big dinner before you come here. Do you experience after eating food? After you have had a heavy meal, and you sit down, immediately after the meal, it's okay. You can still read the papers. Immediately after reading the meal. But when the food begins to be digested, it's digested. Then after that, actually you only see the words. and then drowsiness arises in your mind. And those who are studying for examination should bear this in mind, because when there is this sloth and torpor in the mind, when drowsiness arises in the mind, it is important to know how to overcome this sloth and torpor, this drowsiness. If you try to concentrate on a drowsy mind, then this is how dizziness, headache will arise. I have tried this. I remember what I did when I was in school. After coming back from school, especially when the time when we are having tests and examination, and especially when the parents tell us you must study, keep on reminding you must study how many hours a day. So we make up the timetable, must study so many hours a day. And come back and eat. Cannot resist some good food, eat too much. And after that, to show that, I have to study so many hours, so pick the book up and read. And then, cannot, you want to fit in so many hours of studies. Sit for 1 hour, after that, very sleepy. You go on reading. And if you force yourself, when there is drowsiness, the next thing is, headache. You need Panadol or something. Next time you get drowsiness, try to get out of that drowsy state of mind first before you try to concentrate. That's important. And so that drowsiness is conditioned by the sloth and torpor of the mind. This sloth and torpor of the mind is in turn conditioned by the body, by the certain conditions in the body. Like what? Like the gross food. Too much food also. Gross food. That is why when you want to concentrate, then you reduce the intake of food. So, examination season, try not to eat too much at one time. So eat little, can eat a few times, and a few times, and space out, but not all the time also. So that is how, when you eat little, then you can reduce that drowsiness. If not, what happens is, when you are already drowsy, and if there is no energy, if no right effort to overcome this drowsiness, then what happens? You give up, you go and sleep. When you sleep, what happens? When you get up, you want to sleep some more. Because that is a state of mind, it conditions, and the mind becomes very dull. After getting up, your mind becomes very dull. If you have slept when your mind is having this sloth and torpor and drowsiness, and if you sleep with that kind of state of mind, when you get up, you will also have that kind of very dull and, sluggish mind. But if you have a clear mind, if you sleep with a clear mind, you will wake up also with clear mind. You can try tonight and see. Because this is what you call, this is observing the state of mind. Whenever you observe this state of mind, then you are beginning, this is what you call in the process of cultivating your mind. It's only a matter of whether you are doing it intensively or you are doing it at a more, what you call, relaxed manner. At a grosser level or a more refined level. And so the condition, that mental hindrance of sloth and torpor. And another hindrance already mentioned is what you call restlessness of the mind. You know what restlessness of the mind is? Many thoughts come up in your mind. How come so many thoughts arise in the mind? Why has this so many thoughts arisen in the mind? What are the cause? What is the cause? What conditions have given rise to these many thoughts in the mind? Craving, craving. When you have desire, when you have a lot of desire, New Year season, and go around window shopping. You look at this cloth, that cloth, this fabric, that price, this price, and then you go back home and then you think, what to buy, Then you go for meditation. Then this cloth appear, that cloth appear. This you want. That one also good. That one also want. But that one is cheap. That one is expensive. And you start thinking like that. And start comparing. Because of the desire. Desire condition many thoughts to arise. Not only desire, anger also. Anger also condition a lot of thoughts to arise in your mind. When you are angry with somebody, that person appear in your mind, the figure appear in your mind. Oh, you begin to think, You begin to think, says, why did he say to me like that? And what I told him, not enough. I forgot. I should have told him like that. And then you think, when I see him next, I will tell him like that. Oh, your mind works like that. So many thoughts come. See how the mind works? Restlessness of the mind. Actually, both this, the craving, the desire, and the anger, is conditioned by the main cause. What is this main cause? Delusion, ignorance. Those who study, those who do mathematics or science, when you do not know the formula, when you have forgotten the formula, your mathematics formula, and you try to solve the problem, you try various ways you try, trial and error. Many thoughts arise in your mind. But if you know the method, if you know the formula, immediately you apply it. Your mind just one. In the same manner, if your mind is confused, in a state of confusion, then a lot of thoughts can arise in the mind. And if your awareness, the right awareness, is not there, if you are not aware that state of mind, that is a confused state of mind, then the confused state of mind will condition more ignorance. You see? This is how one factor condition another factor. Do you remember the formula? Last Sunday morning I gave you the formula? Remember? I told you it's a very important formula. What is that formula? Can you remember in Buddhist style? I will teach you this formula. You must learn this formula because your whole life, if you can understand this formula, then you understand everything of Buddhism. Because it is the central philosophy of Buddhism, the central teaching of Buddhism. Imasmeng sati idang hoti. Repeat after me. Imasmeng sati idang hoti. You know the meaning? Imasmeng sati. Imasmeng means this. The word sati here does not mean mindfulness. It is a verb to be. That is, it means exist. or is. When this is, idang. Idang means not this. When we say this is very close to me, I say this. When I point at that, which is a little bit further, I say that. Sometimes you can also use this also, but a bit further away this. You understand? Anyway, not to confuse you, something that is not near here, a bit further, I say that. So idang means that. So when this exists, that exists. Right? That is the English translation. Imasming sati idang hoti. Now the opposite. Imasming asati idang na hoti. Again, imasming asati idang na hoti. Very good. So the meaning is this. When this does not exist, that does not exist. There is two more lines. Imasa upada idang upajjati. First repeat. Imasa upada idang upajjati. In other words, when this imasa, the arising of this, upada means arising. Imasa means arising of. When this arises, the arising of this, when this arises, idang upajjati, that arises. Understand? When this arises, that arises. Then the opposite is this. Imasa nirodha idang nirucchati. Imasa nirodha idang nirucchati. In other words, when this ceases, when this ceases, that ceases. When this ceases, that ceases. You know, ceases means disappear. Disappear. That disappear. Simple formula? Remember that. Again and again, again and again. And later on, when you develop your mindfulness and awareness, this is what you have to learn to observe. You observe what? Conditions. Everything in our life, you observe the conditions. When this condition arises, this arises. When the condition is, this condition is not there, that is not there. And you apply this formula at different levels. Even for those of you who are in the stock market, can apply this condition. When certain condition is there, you see everybody rush to the stock market. When the condition is not there, everybody come back. The buying and selling. Economic situation, you can apply. Any situation, you can apply this formula. And within your own mind, you can also apply. Now you see, when anger arises, right? When there is anger, anger exists. What exists? Many things other exist. You know, when anger exists, all the other defilements also come up. You know, that is what we call paticca samuppada. This word paticca samuppada means when something arises, it arises samuttada. It arises together, not one by one. When one arises, another also arises. Like that. You observe when you sit down, when painful sensation arises in you, the feeling, very unpleasant feeling, painful sensation arises in you. What happens to your body? What happens to your body when some painful sensation arises? You observe some tension. Or you begin to move, that part of the body begin to move. The muscles begin to twitch. But immediately if you observe when the painful sensation ceases, then your movement stops. Right? Like that. In the same manner, when anger arises in your mind, then all kinds of words come out from your mouth. Then when no anger, those words cannot come out anymore. On the other hand, when your mind is good state of mind, then the good words come out. When the mind is not in a good state, those good words cannot come out from you. So you see how the conditions, the mind, balance condition. Everything in our life operates on this formula. This is what you call the formula of life in this world. Condition. Everything in this world, this life is conditioned. But when you know it, you can uncondition it. You can reverse it. Because when you know that when this arises, that arises. If you don't want that to arise, then you should check this to arise, not to arise, right? So come back again to your mental hindrances. That restlessness, you know how restlessness arises in the mind, right? Another mental hindrance. So far we have talked about 4 mental hindrances. One is, what's the first one? Sensual desire. Second one, anger, aversion. Third, sloth and torpor. Fourth, restlessness. Restlessness also called by worries, worries in your mind. Or remorse, guilty conscience, something which you should have done and you have not done. Certain things which you should not have done, but you have done it. Then the remorse can arise in your mind. Then restlessness arises in the mind. Then the 5th mental hindrance is what we call vicikiccha, doubts. Doubts. When you have doubts, doubts about what? Doubts about the Buddha, doubts about the Dhamma, doubts about the Sangha, doubts about even the method that you are doing, whether this is the right method or not. When you have these doubts in your mind, there are many, many other kinds of doubts in the mind. When these doubts arises, then concentration. When you have doubts in your teacher, when you attend the lectures in the school and you look and you have doubt whether your teacher really know what he's talking about or not. And if you have that kind of doubt, then you won't concentrate, you won't pay attention. That is how some students start throwing rockets and eat kacang in class. And that becomes a mental hindrance. It hinders concentration. So remember these 5 mental hindrances. When any one or more of these 5 mental hindrances are present in the mind, then the right concentration cannot arise. Right concentration only arises when these mental hindrances are at least temporarily checked, under control. When you have that under control, when these 5 mental hindrances ceases, then 5 other mental factors arise. What are these mental factors? We call this vitakka, vichara, piti, sukha, ekaggata. We call these 5 jhana factors, the 5 jhana factors. In actual practice, we start with ekaggata. Ekaggata is one-pointedness of mind. When we want to develop the right concentration, we first focus our attention on one object. That is what you call the ekaggata, the one-pointedness of the mind on one thing. Then we develop the vichara. Vichara is the sustained thought. In other words, we keep our thought, we keep our mind on that one object. In other words, we keep it, we observe the nature of that object again and again. And when we observe the nature of that object, these 2 factors, vitakka, vichara, this we have to, ekaggata and the ekaggata, one-pointedness of mind. And then we apply our thought. We apply the thought, that is called vitakka, applied thought. Then we observe the thought, we discern the thought. In other words, we sustain our thought on that one object, vichara. When these 3 mental factors are there, they are the cause for 2 other mental factors to arise. They are called piti, joy. The joy will begin to arise. And sukha, happiness arises in the mind. That joy is still conditioned by some gross feelings. And then sukha is when there is no more pain. Your body becomes very relaxed, no more pain. And then your mind also, no more stress in the mind. So both mind and body very relaxed. And that state, your mind is, you have the first level of absorption. And with this first level of absorption, you have these 5 mental factors there. 5 mental factors there. And if you want to develop further the higher levels, 2nd, 3rd, 4th level of absorption, then you keep on concentrating, keep on focusing on one object until even the object that you are observing, you don't have to apply the thought. Don't have, say if you are observing your breath, you have to focus your attention on your breath. That is what you call applied thought. And you have to observe the nature of the breath, sometimes fast, slow, long, short breath, like that. That is vichara. And you focus it, that one-pointedness, you focus at one point. You fix at one point. Any point, say at the tip of your nostrils, then that one-pointedness, that one point there. So you cause these 3 factors to arise, then the piti, they will arise, and the sukha arises. And when you keep on at this, then what happens is that the breath may disappear. Vitaka vichara not there. Then you get only the one-pointedness. There is joy, there is happiness new. There's a second state, or the second jhana, the second level of absorption. Then you must learn to observe and see that joy, that the gross kind of happiness, and you observe that nature. You observe its nature, then that also will disappear. Then you have only just a happy state of mind and one-pointedness. And if you keep on observing that focus, just that one-pointedness, that happiness to disappear, and your mind is just one-pointedness. That is how you develop your mind from the first, second, third, fourth jhana, like that. And these different jhanas, this four is called the rupa jhana. There are some more other higher levels called arupa jhana. And this arupa jhana, where because you see that your mind is, when your mind is one-pointed, fixed one point, and no thoughts disturb you, your mind is just one. And then, but you see that even that state of mind still is not satisfactory. And because it can easily deteriorate. The concentration can easily be disturbed. So you determine to go higher levels. So you determine and you tell your mind, this is what we use, we condition our one-pointedness, we tell our mind, infinite space. We just think like that, infinite space, and that one-pointedness of mind just begin to perceive the, what you call space, space, and actually the mind just see whole, what you call infinite space, and that is actually that state of mind, the arupa jhana. That arupa jhana is actually when the mind perceives on the feeling process. It's the feeling of the subtle joy. And then at that state you can still go on a little bit further. And when you introduce in your thought, you think that, yes, infinite consciousness, awareness, infinite consciousness. And that's where you begin to experience the real vijnana dhatu, your real consciousness, the pure consciousness, vijnana. In other words, here you begin to see, begin to realize these mental, what you call your mental aggregates. Then, still further, when there is infinite consciousness, then you condition your mind further, when you concentrate further, tell your mind, there's nothingness. And your mind get into the state of nothingness. Actually, the state of nothingness is when your mind begin to perceive the pure mental formation, mental activities. But there is nothing for this mental activity no object. There is no object for the mental activity to catch on to. So you can observe the pure mental activity, sankhara, you just observe that only purely. So you begin to see that component of your state of mind, that aggregate. And then there is then you think of, you keep on concentrating, and you get to the level of neither perception nor non-perception. neither perception nor non-perception. Now, when you observe this, the four arupa jhana, these four arupa jhana is when your mind deals with those four things, Vedana, Sanya, Sankhara, Vijnana. You know these four things? What is Vedana? Feeling process. Sanya, perception process. Your ability to cognize, to remember things, that is Sanya. Sankhara is what you call mental formation, the thoughts that arises in your mind, the concepts, the ideas that arises in your mind, Sankhara. Vijnana is your consciousness, your awareness, Vijnana. These four things is what we call the mind. Loosely we call the mind into these four. But we actually cannot divide these four things like that. But we can experience when the mind is very fine, when you get into fine level of concentration, we can experience these things. We can experience our feeling, pure feeling, perception process, can experience that. We can experience the mental formation and also the consciousness process. That is how the Buddha, when he developed this right concentration, and he perfected his right concentration, that is how he explained this whole body in terms of mind and matter, in terms of nama rupa. Then that is what you call right concentration. Now you know what right concentration is? Those different levels of concentration. That is how we understand right concentration according to the Noble Eightfold Path. According to the Noble Eightfold Path. Then now you know what meditation is about? What is meditation now? Right effort, right mindfulness, right concentration. Effort, mindfulness, and concentration. When these pass together, and so whatever you do, if you can have these things, a matter of degree, you develop, then that is the meditation. You are culturing your mind. It does not mean only sitting down. No? It does not mean only sitting down. Now, there are people when you are practicing metta, loving kindness, what are you doing? Now, when you sit down and you radiate your loving kindness, and you tell yourself, may I be free from anger, free from enmity, free from anger, and you wish yourself free from suffering. What are you doing? Is it good or bad? Good. Now, ordinarily, now when you listen like this, your mind, does this thought arise in your mind? Are there thoughts wishing that may I be free from anger, free from enmity? No? So, you need purposely to arouse your mind, right? When you get up early in the morning, what is the first thought that occupies in your mind? The first thought that comes up in your mind in the morning, what? Hungry, food, is it? Or what? What's the time? Rush, this thing. Why not you try? In the morning when you get up, as soon as you get up, then you say, oh, may I be free from anger, free from enmity. may my parents, brothers and sisters, and my boss and office colleagues all be free from anger, be well and happy. You try. But if you want to succeed, if you want that kind of thought to come out in the morning, then before you go to sleep, just have this state of mind and wish that may all be well and happy. May I be free from anger, free from enmity. When you have this thought of mind and then you go to sleep, in the morning, this thought arise again, continue again. Train the mind always to have this, because our life, our unhappiness, our sorrow in the mind, conditioned by these things, no? Anger. If no craving, hatred. If no love, we hate. Like and dislike. This is what you call lobha and dosa. Craving and aversion. Craving and aversion. So try to free the mind from these things. And for that we have to arouse in our mind again and again. Again and again. No? And when you arouse in your mind, now tell me, what is it? Is it meditation? Is it meditation? What does it involve? What does it involve? Which factor does it involve? There is right effort, isn't it? The effort to develop the good that is not there, right? And once you have already aroused the goodness, the good thoughts in your mind, and you try to keep it there, that is why you keep on repeating, that may all be well and happy, well and happy, well and happy, all be well and happy. You maintain that. That's what you call right effort. And then, while you are trying to do this, some other thoughts come to your mind. And then, the effort to prevent that unwholesome thoughts from arising in your mind. So this is how you are applying effort. And at the same time, you have your mindfulness. What is your mindfulness? What is your object there? Your object is metta. Your object of meditation is loving kindness. That is your object of meditation. So there is your mindfulness. Your mindfulness is there. And when you have effort mindfulness and your concentration, you can develop right concentration through metta. Although this just by metta cannot lead you to the highest of concentration, but it will lead you, it can lead you up to the first, second, third jhana, just by your metta alone. But this is what you call samadhi. Samadhi means mental discipline. Discipline your mind through right effort, right mindfulness, and right concentration. We have not talked about panya, wisdom. How the samadhi will lead you to wisdom, panya. No? Actually, panya, remember this, sila, samadhi, panya. Sila, samadhi, panya. That is, there must be sila, morality, moral restraint, samadhi, concentration or mental discipline, and wisdom. Wisdom. So, can we divide it as meditation is samatha, vipassana? Can we have a clear dividing line in this? If we observe just this, understand the sila, samadhi, panya, you will see that the panya is conditioned by what? No? Samadhi. Samadhi is conditioned by what? Sila. If we do not have sila, if we do not have, if we do not practice right speech, right bodily action, we are going to hurt a lot of people. We are going to harm a lot of people. When we hurt and harm a lot of people, and you try to sit down quietly, a lot of remorse, guilty conscience will arise in our mind. And then we cannot concentrate. Restlessness arise, worries, remorse arise in the mind. So that is why then where there is proper mental discipline, right concentration, that will condition panya, wisdom, mind. So we know very clearly that samadhi is a condition to the development of wisdom mind. Understand? So in Buddhism, nothing can stay by itself alone. One condition the other. Understand? One condition the other. It's only a matter of degree. Okay. So now, you have any question now? Now you know what meditation is about. While reading, you can develop your mind. While writing, you can develop your mind. While sitting down, listening to Dhamma, you can develop your mind. While walking, waiting for the bus, while driving, you can develop your mind. Because when you drive, you must have sila samadhi panya too. You have seen how people in the traffic, when they are caught up in the traffic or somebody overtake them, they no sila. When they lose that sila, their samadhi also goes off. Then they cannot concentrate. So keep the sila samadhi panya all the time. Try to all the time with you. In fact, these factors go hand in hand. And when you practice, you develop your meditation. You take one object and develop a meditation. You can arouse all that sila samadhi panya to arise in your mind. No? All the noble path factors can arise as you watch the rising and falling of your abdomen, or as you watch the breathing in and breathing out. You can arouse all the noble path factors to arise in your mind. You learned the formula today. What formula you learned today? Imasming sati idam hoti. Imasming asati idam nahoti. Imasupada idam upacchati. Imasa nirodha idam nirucchati. When this exists, that exists. When this does not exist, that does not exist. When this arises, that arises. So when you get angry, when that condition arises, what happens? Others also get angry. That also arises. Don't think that when this arises, others don't arise. But when you cool down, that also will cool down. Yes. You see? So only see this. And when you see this thing, you will see that everything in this world arises dependent on condition. Nothing arises from nothing. Then you really understand the true nature of the world. The Buddha says, whether or not a Buddha arises, this is how the world functions, according to conditions. And when you understand this, you really understand the law of karma, the law of cause and effect. Any question you want to ask? Yes. No question? Very good. Don't trouble yourself. If no problem, don't create problem. Don't generate problem. Very good. You have learned this to free your mind and learn to free your mind. And let us spend a few minutes to conclude this session. Let us spend a few moments to just sit down first, little while. 5 minutes, sit down and calm down your mind, free your mind. Try to keep your body in an upright position and take a few deep breaths. Adjust your body to a fairly relaxed position. Keep your shoulder joints relaxed. Breathe in, breathe out. Take a few deep breaths. Those of you who have learned the rising and falling of the abdomen can just watch the rising and falling of your abdomen. Others can observe your breath as you breathe in and breathe out normally. Just observe the breath as it enters and leaves your nostrils. As you breathe in and out, free your mind. Free your mind from whatever thoughts, whatever things that has happened during the day. Whatever things have happened during the past, free your mind. Also free your mind from all thoughts, all your plans for the rest of the day and for tomorrow and the future. Just try to bring your attention to the present by observing your object of meditation. Breathe in, breathe out normally. You can, as you breathe in, you can mentally note both. Breathing out, you can mentally note do. Breathe in with both. Breathe out do. 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 Bhavatu Sappa Mangalam Rakkantu Sappa Devata Sappa Bhuttanubhavena Sata Sutti Bhavantu Te Bhavatu Sappa Mangalam Rakkantu Sappa Devata Sappa Dhammanubhavena Sata Sutti Bhavantu Te Bhavatu Sappa Mangalam Rakkantu Sappa Devata Sappa Sanghanubhavena Sata Sutti Bhavantu Te. May all be well and happy. Slowly return your attention to your body and slowly open your eyes. Be wide awake, calm and peaceful. As you open your eyes, be wide awake. Maintain the calmness, maintain the peace, the quietness within you.